Welcome. Lovely to see you. Chris and Holger, David and David. Hi, Carol. Hey, George. And Heidi, Desmond, maybe. So, just a couple of words that we'll be starting this meeting with a brief guided meditation, and then we'll follow up with any questions or any discussion. So sit comfortably and turn your attention inward by welcoming your experience. Open arms, relax, nothing to do. Contemplate that you are this aware presence. Effortless presence. And that as this presence, there are no concerns. No objective, nothing to try to attain. My presence is peace. Your reality. The reality of the universe. You are not a wave on the surface of the ocean. You are not the body-mind which you perceive. That which you are, the reality which hears these words. Cannot be known by the mind. Since the mind is limited. But you don't need to know yourself via the mind. Because you already are that which you are. And that which you are cannot be said to be limited, cannot be said to be this or that. That which you are cannot be described via any limited body-mind instrument, via thought, via concepts, via feelings. And that's perfectly fine. There is no way to describe love or beauty or happiness. There's no need to describe love, beauty, or happiness. It speaks for itself. Love speaks for itself. Freedom speaks for itself. That which you are does not need description. That which is beyond description is beyond limitation, which is this aware presence right now. Unopposed, no opposition to that which is non-phenomenal. You know you are just by asking yourself in this moment the question, am I? The resounding answer is yes, I am. This I am has no qualificative, no shape, color, size, smell, taste. And yet this amness is undeniable. So we can soak into this amness that I am and I know that I am. Simply soak into that. Without adding any story, without adding any memory, without adding any color or shape. Simply, I am, and I know that I am. To be not knowing. not knowing what I am, but knowing that I am. Because amness is only possible via knowingness, and knowingness is only possible via amness. The reality of your experience is consciousness. Your reality. Infinite, invisible. Aware presence. Reality is one. Non-dual. Your body and the universe are one. Your mind and the universe are one. You are this universal knowingness. There is only one knowingness. Many appearances, many colors, shapes and shades. Like the rainbow and the white light. The white light contains all the colors. Every shade of color is made out of the white light. Its essence is the white light. Similarly, all your perceptions, sensations are made out of one reality, awareness, consciousness. appearances appear to you and they disappear within you to you. But you don't appear and disappear. You don't exist in time. Time appears to you. Nothing happens to reality. In the phenomenal realm, there is impression of happening, but in reality, there is no happening. In the mind, in the conceptual realm, there is time and space and events. But reality is non-conceptual. It's not defined by the concepts of time and space. You are not defined by time and space. So you relax your body-mind. Allow whatever is unfolding, whatever sensations are appearing to you. No resistance, no direction, no goal, nothing to defend, no one to defend, no state to attain. So if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, please make sure to unmute yourself. So any questions? Any questions? Hi, Holger.
Hi, Maggie. It would be much easier to ask for questions before the meditation.
Well, we could try that if you like. Maybe we could have this on occasion meetings where we just have a discussion or...
Yeah, because there is nothing to hold on to. I mean, nothing, no question.
Right.
Thank you. One question, imagination. Imagination would be phenomenal because it's a mind object.
So by imagination, what do you mean by imagination? Like images, thoughts that appear to you? Is that what is imagination?
Mental mental images like
yeah, I mean all images, all thoughts are phenomenal. Meaning, just to clarify, meaning they have a beginning and an ending. They have a certain flavor, a certain shape, a certain size, a certain coloring, a certain particular appearance. Whatever appears, if they're images, memories, is is phenomenal. Now the creative process, creativity, is non-phenomenal. Creation. So like in this moment, there is a perception, yes? This perception is not separate from its creation. So you could say that the perception is phenomenal, but the creative factor, the creative element is not, you cannot perceive that in any way. You can describe the perception, you can describe the sound that you're hearing, the sensation within your body, in some way or the other, you could refer to it. But the creative, the creativity cannot be described. It's noumenal. It is non-phenomenal. So one of the attributes of consciousness is noumenal, meaning it's a reality. It is being, but it's not being somebody or being something. Although any form, the essence of any form, of anything, is being or isness. Being referring to amness, and isness referring to that which is the essence of appearances. It's isness quality. It's so coming back to consciousness is also noumenal, and the qualities or attributes of consciousness. One of the attributes of consciousness is creativity, awareness, creativity. The creation and the perception are not two. The creation, the perception, and the reality and the beingness are not 2, 3, or 4. They're one. So the amness, the I am, the amness, being, and creativity are not two. Now the body is a perception, a creation. It's not the creative element. It is a created form, moment by moment, instant by instant. So a distinction between the creative element and that which is created / perceived. Now, if you take it a little further in terms of there is only one reality, so the phenomenal is conceptually is described as phenomenal, but the reality of phenomena is noumenal. There's only one reality, which is noumenal. Are you following?
Yes, noumenal. Yeah, I'm here, I'm hearing you, and there's no resistance. I mean, yes, one reality. Yes, the objects, and yes, I hear you. I do.
So the imaginative quality, let's say, the imagination is not possible without creation. So imagination and creation are not two. Let's say you imagine a pink flying elephant, yes?
Yes.
That pink flying elephant is a creative essence or an imaginary essence to that pink flying elephant. The pink flying elephant could be 200 pounds or 2,000 pounds, right? That's the perception, how it appears. But the creative / imaginative attribute is an attribute of consciousness, is non-visible, it's invisible, and it's undeniable. You cannot have a created form without the creative element, with the creative aspect. You follow?
Yes, and so where the form is, there's also the presence at the same time.
Presence.
The
now,
form,
yes, presence.
The form is the presence.
Well,
on one level.
Yes, everything is this one reality. You can call it being, meaning presence, awareness, because there's no presence with awareness, reality, creativity, all form refers to one reality. It's one reality. So yeah, you could say that form is presence in essence. All forms are made out of being awareness, being/awareness. Because there is no form that is possible without awareness, right?
Yes.
I mean, what would a tree or an oak tree, or what would a sensation be without awareness, right?
Absolute, yes.
And what would a sensation be without being, without presence?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So any perception, which is an appearance, it's based on awareness/presence. The Satchitananda, Satchit, Sat meaning presence or being, Chit being awareness or knowingness. There is no possibility for any perceived element without the perceiving essence.
Wow.
Yeah. And to stretch it a little further, there is no possibility for perception or any perceived element or perceived entity or perceived object or perceived form without the creative essence, without the creative attribute. Right?
Yes.
So you have the creative, you have the perceptive, meaning awareness, and you have the being, the presence. But they're not three. They're not three. It's like a car has 4 tires, you know, yeah, you said left, maybe it's a bad example, but they're not three. There is no awareness without creation. There is no creation without being. There is no being without the creative aspect.
So, and when fear and lack come into the picture, there is a distortion, a misunderstanding.
Well, fear and lack refer to someone, to somebody.
Yeah.
They're not absolute. Awareness is absolute. Peace is absolute. Freedom is absolute. But fear arises on occasion. The sense of lack arises on occasion, right?
Yes.
It arises for somebody. So there has to, before fear arises or the sense of lack arising, there has to be a download of somebody, an entity, a potentially fearful entity, or an entity that is potentially subject to fear or to the sense of lack. And because fear and the sense of lack is experienced right here. We experience it right here. So the download is right here. The entity, the potentially fearful entity is downloaded right here. Right here, meaning within awareness. So consciousness itself, meaning right here, this right here-ness, the now-ness, meaning the here-ness consciousness, takes on the form or assumes the belief of limitation, assumes a belief of, assumes itself to be an entity, a limited entity. And then it can experience fear, because it doesn't experience fear without assuming itself to be a limited entity. You don't experience fear unless you assume yourself to be Holger, who, oh my God,
Yes.
maybe tomorrow, or Magdi, oh my God, what's going to happen to this body tomorrow, or to my bank account tomorrow, or to my relationships tomorrow, etc.
So the entity is imagined.
Yes, it's created and perceived simultaneously. It's imagined and believed. It's not just imagined, because you can imagine a big flying elephant.
Yes.
It's different from believing yourself to be a pink flying elephant. That's a different experience.
Yes, yes, yes.
So yes, it is imagined, but it's also imagined and believed. And believed, so you believed, so consciousness imagines itself to be a pink flying elephant and believes itself to be. First, it imagines the pink flying elephant, that also believes itself to be a pink flying elephant, to be a limited entity, to be a man, to be a woman. It's a simultaneous process.
Yes. And so there's nothing bad about fear.
No, fear is consciousness as a play. It's a game of consciousness. There is consciousness chooses to experience fear by defining itself and identifying itself with a form.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing bad in the universe. In the entire universe, there is nothing bad. Good and bad belong to the conceptual mind. I'm not saying there is anything wrong with those concepts. They're useful concepts. Mm-hmm. They're helpful, concepts, in our life. We use them. But in terms of reality is not conceptual. It's not opposed to concepts, but it's not defined by any concept or any series of concepts.
Wow. Wonderful. Thank you, Magdi. I really enjoy this opportunity and gift to be here and to hear you. It's quite amazing.
Hi, Magdi.
Yes, hello, Chris.
I have a question. I think I'm trying to formulate it concisely, but I'll try this. So, I'm drawn to re-emerging more in my life.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I said I'm drawn to
re-emerging,
re-emerging, more activity in my life. This has been so beautiful to have this understanding and to have the opportunity to abide. I feel like one part of me feels like I could just do that. It's really lovely. And at the same time, I wonder if you could just speak. I don't know exactly what the question is, but I would love to hear a little bit about how do I put this? There's a distrust, and I know I'm looking at, well, who's the one distrusting, but there's a little bit of a trying to re-walk on shaky legs feeling. I was so attached to identifying with doing things well and having talents and you know, this identity, and I'm clear on that I am not those identities, and I'm clear on the suffering that it causes. And I'm so excited at this idea of celebrating through them, you know, and so maybe Chris is just being really impatient, you know, because there's this part of me that's like, oh, I just want to get going. And at the same time, and that doesn't feel like a bad thing necessarily, but at the same time, um, my intuition is to take it slow and to just, yeah, I'm not sure. I just would love to hear a little bit about like coming back into the world and
what's wrong with right now?
yeah, there's a feeling. So what's happening is there's a feeling of loss that in this abidance and in being my true self, I have to let go. It's easy to let go of the things I don't like about Chris. You know, like, and that's lovely. My life is more peaceful now than it ever has been. And I'm also butting up against the things that I judge. My mind is judging I have to let go of things that I like about Chris.
No,
and I know what you're gonna say.
You have to let go of Chris. Let God take care of Chris.
Yeah.
You don't need Chris. The universe
Yeah.
needs Chris. The universe is Chris. The universe puts together Chris and manages Chris. Chris's breath, the thoughts that appear to Chris, the temperature of the universe, you know, the rain and the oxygenation level on the planet. All of that is Chris. So you don't need Chris.
He's not doing all that. Right. I see what you're saying.
The universe is Chris. The universe takes care of Chris. You are this aware presence. And so your business with Chris is an invitation comes to you. An invitation comes to you. You open the invitation, and the invitation says, you know, Chris is thirsty. Okay, so then next invitation comes to you. Take Chris to the refrigerator. Next invitation comes to you is open the refrigerator door. Next one is, okay, you have grapefruit juice, you have orange juice, you have iced tea, I don't know. So next invitation is, okay, give Chris the apple juice. This is, so you're receiving all this invitation. You don't need to figure anything out. It all comes to you. Now, sometimes you open an invitation, and the invitation tells you, oh, it'll be nice to go swimming today, and or do you prefer to go for a walk? Sometimes the invitation appears to you like that. Nice to go swimming today, but maybe would you rather go for a walk? So you look at that and you wait a second, and the next invitation arrives and it says, go for a walk. And then the next one is, oh, gee, where are my hiking boots? Or whatever.
I think what I'm seeing is there's a feeling of responsibility mixed in there. That's that feeling of personal responsibility. Like, I guess this is touching like the doership feeling in me.
Well,
that is unconscious in there. Is I what you're describing, I've had that experience and it's lovely. I mean, when I'm in my house, yes, that's true.
Well, so then you receive an invitation, and the invitation says, be responsible, right? Act responsibly, right? And so how do you act responsibly? How do you act responsibly? How does one act responsibly? What are we responsible for? Well, we could say we're responsible for nothing, because there is nobody to be responsible for anything, and we're responsible for everything. We're responsible for everything. We're responsible for this body-mind. We're responsible for our neighbor. We're responsible for our village. We're responsible for our planet. We're responsible for the oceans, the rivers. What are we not responsible for? We're responsible for nothing and for everything. So, but of course, the vehicle we have is a limited vehicle. This body-mind cannot go and clean all the rivers or clean the oceans from all the pollution or clean the air. With the understanding that I'm responsible for nothing and for everything, I just do whatever is available to me in my limited field of my limited potential, my limited field. So when I'm acting responsible towards everything and everyone, that's love, because I'm recognizing everything and everyone as myself,
So it's, in a way, it's the picking and choosing that's ignorant. Like, oh, I'm responsible for this, but not that.
It depends.
It seems to be all or none. What I hear you saying is all or none.
I mean, of course, we're responsible for everything and for nothing, but at the same time, there are very specific messages that come to us. A specific message is, this old lady is crossing the street and she's limping and there's a lot of traffic. Maybe I could help her. So I pick and choose at that moment. I pick and choose. Is it available for me to assist this lady or this older man to cross the street or not? So the picking and choosing is very specific. It's not like some kind of, it's specific to what appears to you in your perceptual field and what appears to you internally, right? So it's like,
experiential.
It's experiential and it's specific in the moment, in this moment of your experience. What is appearing to you internally and in your environment? Now, sometimes what appears to you is internally is, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Or am I being a good guy? Or am I being spiritual? Or am I progressing? Some internally, ignorance may appear to you. What I mean is that sometimes internally, what appears to you is certain thoughts and feelings that assume, that have a presumption that that you are a personal limited consciousness, that you are a body mind, that you are an entity. And then once there is that assumption that I am Chris, that I am this body, then there are worries and concerns and fears, and the sense of lack and the sense of limitation. And so there is a possibility to discern. If you don't discern what's appearing to you internally as being polluted, if you don't discern that, then you will act you will pollute. If you don't discern that you are the thoughts and the decisions that are appearing to you now are arising with the assumption, based on the assumption that consciousness is person limited, then you're getting down into the rabbit hole, and you'll get more and more negative emotions, a sense of lack, and the fear of ending and the fear of extinction will arise to you, worries and concerns and all sorts of negative emotions that appear to you, and then you will experience further confusion in your mind and angst in your body. That discernment is an important discernment, and
that's regardless of, I think what I'm seeing is I've been conceptualizing like, oh, I can do this, quote unquote, do this. I can be peaceful now. And when I'm still, but when I'm going back and re-engaging the things that Chris does, it's harder. I don't know that that's true, but that's what I'm seeing is I'm making that assumption.
Well, when you say I, what do when you say I, what are you referring to? That I can, consciousness needs to do nothing. It needs doing nothing. It doesn't care about doing anything. So when you say that, when you say I, and then you follow as something that you need to do, or you should do, or you're not doing right, or so repeat what you said with the understanding that I doesn't need to do anything, that I is consciousness. How would you word what you were just saying with me?
I don't recall exactly what I was saying, but I'll try. So
I don't either.
So I see, yeah, but I like it. If I were to say it, just let me get clear. If you're asking me if I were to say it from the perspective of my true self,
yes,
how would I say it? I would say I see Chris.
You perceive Chris
I perceive Chris
in this moment,
and I perceive him
in this moment, right? Or
in this moment.
Well, yeah, because consciousness is now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're perceiving Chris. You perceive Chris.
Am I? Okay.
So what describe to me the Chris that you perceive right now?
Right now, what I'm actually perceiving are thoughts about Chris.
Okay.
And I can perceive what I judge as Chris's hand and body.
Okay, so you're perceiving thoughts, and you're perceiving a perception. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the thought that you perceive, and does the hand that you perceive, does that define you? In other words, if you look at your hand and then let's say you look at your foot, does anything happen to you that is perceiving, that the perceiving aspect that perceives the hand, is it a different perceiving aspect than that which is perceiving the foot or the image?
No. And the same as the tingles, I can feel tingling and I can sense tingling.
Yes, so it's you perceive, but nothing is happening to you, the perceiving aspect, right?
No.
Okay, let's take
No.
a feeling now. Let's take a feeling. You're feeling hurt. Oh, you know, somebody says, "Oh, Chris, you're so stupid." You're feeling hurt. Let's go to that feeling hurt right now. You're feeling hurt. Feeling hurt. Okay. So what are you perceiving right now? Let's say you're perceiving. Yeah. What are you perceiving right now?
A thought.
A thought, yes.
But
there's more than a thought when you're feeling hurt.
Yeah, you're saying right now, and I don't feel it. So
no,
I'm trying to.
I know. I'm
yeah,
play.
yeah.
I play. How do you say? You know.
Yeah. Right. I get it. But I do feel. I mean, honestly, the tingling in the body right now is not that different than when I feel hurt.
Yes.
There's just a different story attached to it. Yeah. I feel vibrating and a tingling.
Yeah. So when you
but there would be a heavier when I'm hurt. I'd feel a heavierness in my throat and my chest. You're
feeling two things. You're feeling a sensation, and you're feeling right now a thought that says it's heavy, because the sensation has no weight. It's not heavy or light, right? but it's this thought that says,
yes.
"God, this is heavy."
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're perceiving sensation, which has no weight, no color, no shape. No, it's just a sensation, and you're perceiving a thought. And maybe you're also perceiving another thought besides the thought it's heavy, another thought which is saying, "Darn, I wish I wasn't feeling that."
Yes.
So
it's a very creative process.
Yeah. but let's take a look at it. I mean, in fact, correct me if I'm wrong. You're perceiving sensations and thoughts. Yes, but nothing is happening to the perceiving element, to the perceiving aspect.
And so this is the creation of Chris. I mean, this is the way this identity got built up.
It's a game of consciousness. Consciousness is choosing that. Consciousness is the perceiving element. It's choosing. Yeah. It's also choosing to say, "Darn, I'm a mess." Consciousness is choosing the thought, "I'm a mess. How am I going to get myself out of this mess?" It's the play of consciousness. And once you understand the play, something, how do you say it, désamorcer, something disengages. You need to see the process. It's just a process. It's a universe universing, and nothing is happening to you. You meaning the knowing element. You meaning awareness, consciousness. So when you are experiencing, "Oh my God, I wish this isn't happening to me," and at that moment you understand, wow, look at how tricky God is, how playful God is. Once you understand look how playful God is, you're experiencing this feeling, and there's a giggle. There is a giggle, a child's giggle. And that giggle is it. It's that giggle.
I think my mind just wants to find a shortcut,
Nice play. That's a nice
figure
play.
it out.
That's a nice play. My mind wants to figure a shortcut.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Chris. You get 10 points for that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, okay, that's really helpful. I'm just wondering, I'm sitting with where this question is coming from. Because there's a wondering around the letting go, and does it require some kind of grief? Does it require a death? I mean, I've heard these words before, and I've experienced them, and it's not always bad. It's lovely, but
everything is dying moment by moment, Chris. It's every moment,
my skin, my skin is shedding.
Every moment, everything is dying except awareness, presence.
Yeah, that's helpful to see. It's so true.
So don't worry about dying, the big death or the great death and all of that.
Yes.
No, it's happening.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
It's a done deal.
Right. Right. That's really helpful. So then if this is my body, then when there's this feeling of peaceful abidance, everything is that.
Yes. Absolutely. Because we start with, this is my body, and then when there is the understanding that I is not a body, this is my body, this is my car, this is my house, this is my bank account. When you realize this is my body, and there is an understanding that I is this perceiving element, the peace, and then you find that in fact this peace is not contained inside a body or inside when you're joyful, the joy is not contained inside when you're in love, there's no container to the joy, to the freedom, to the peace, to the happiness, to consciousness, to awareness. There's no container. And yes, you're right. Then your body is embraced by this non-container, is transported by the peace, is transmuted by the peace, which knows no boundaries.
Wow. I see how, my thoughts when I'm experiencing this is like, oh, how nice, Chris is peaceful. Now I'll have a nicer time after I get up and go interact with my family.
Right.
But how profoundly different than the reality of, wait, that's a story I'm telling myself. It's still a story of separation.
Yes, because there is the identification that consciousness is choosing in that story, in that thought, to define itself as Chris.
Yeah.
Which is, and in fact, in the moment that consciousness is defining itself as Chris, once you're aware of this definition, of this identification, the awareness which is aware of this identification is not identified. The awareness which is aware of, I'm identifying myself as Chris, that awareness is not identified. It's never identified. It's just there's this images on the screen. You are the screen. So when you say, "Oh wow, I really got it," I'm Chris really got it, and Chris is gonna hold on to it, or is gonna really polish it, is gonna abide as it. At that moment, you have put on the straitjacket. You meaning consciousness. As always, there's only one I. Consciousness is playing the game at that moment. Say, oh well, let me just have one more sip of that well. I'm not done with this. I haven't squeezed it. I haven't gotten all the juice out of it. Let me wear that straitjacket just a little bit more, a little longer. Just a bit more, a little longer.
Yeah, it does feel like that. There's a part that wants to go back to like, great, now that I have this, now I'll weave it into my life.
Right.
Yes. And it's, there's some fear about like, oh, wait. There isn't in the moment. There's just fear in the thought of like, so that in every moment, I'm just returning to this. That's the way forward.
The fear is always pertains to, I am going to weave it in my, is the I, the me. This me, there's no fear when it comes to presence, when it comes to consciousness. The fear is always based on the assumption that I, consciousness, is personal and limited. There's a male consciousness, is getting it, is improving, it exists in time and space. There's no possibility of fear otherwise. Fear is a package deal with identification, boom, fear. Identification and fear, all the negative emotions come together in one moment of, I am somebody. In the instant that you are Chris, fear is right there in full potential, ready. We are ready. The bayonet is on. We have clocked the gun. We're ready.
Oh, it's so funny. It's really beautiful. It's really funny because it's really true. Oh, man.
And you're saying about trust, you know, the thing is, as you said, that we've already done this personal identity, and I know the pain of it, the fear, the sense of limitation, the concern, the worry. I know that, but I don't trust anything else. Meaning, I am still trusting. I'm still trusting that which I know, that to be Chris with all the fears and the worries and the concerns and the jealousies and the angers and the nightmares. Because when you say I'm not trusting it, you're also saying I am trusting this. I am trusting what I already have. I'm trusting my storyline, my bubble, my cocoon, I've done it for 40 years. I'm trusting it. That's what you're saying. When you say, I don't trust, in fact, you're not saying I don't trust. You're saying, I trust what I have. Well, that's a game of conscience. Conscience is saying, hey, I want to continue this tango of poking at myself, poking at the world, poking at my partners, poking at my family, poking.
So not trusting has to be from the perspective of Chris.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because in not trusting, actually you're trusting Chris. You're not trusting, meaning I'm trusting Chris. It's not, I'm not trusting God, because God isn't even waiting for your trust. What you're saying is, I'm trusting Chris. What God is saying, I'm trusting Chris. I want to continue the Chris game in that moment. It's not like I'm going to continue the trusting Chris game forever and ever. No, it's always in the moment, because there is no forever and ever. Forever and ever is a concept that has to do with time. Time infinite. Time is not infinite. Time is eternal. It's different, meaning there's no time. It's different between time is infinite and time is eternal. So it's always in the moment, in this moment, that you are trusting Chris. Trusting Chris. I'm comfortable with these. I have a white, red, blue, and a beige straight jackets, and they're all. I mean, I have, and there's another 2 on order. They're different colors, you know, rainbow colors. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, yes. Because you is infinite potential. Not you, Chris. I never talk to you. You know, you think I'm going to talk to your body? I'm going to talk to your cells and your brain and your arm and your hand. I talk to consciousness. It's consciousness to consciousness. It's that one is consciousness having conversation with itself. You see, it's consciousness having conversation with itself. You see.
This is like learning the same thing again and again, deeper and deeper.
What's wrong with right now? What do I need to learn right now? Nothing. What's wrong with right now?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Digest that one. Digest that one. It's nothing. Nothing. What's wrong with that right now?
Thank you, Magdi.
All right, Chris.
I'm going to cancel that order for the blue straight jacket. I don't need that one.
Good. good idea. Any questions? Okay, well, lovely to be with you. Enjoy the Christmas. I think what's just around the corner. Yes. And we'll see you soon, Holger and Chris, Patrick, George, David, and Mo. Hey, Mo, and D. We have a mystery D. Is it Desmond? Maybe it's Desmond. D. And my sweet Tara. Okay. See you all. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye.